What's up, guys? Welcome back to the WCS America Challenger League. I'm axeltoss, joined by axslav. This is day 2 of the Challenger League bracket stage number 2, where we have players trying to get closer and closer to that Premier League spot in Season 2 of WCS America. Players in the lobby, I'm asking if they're ready. Pretty interesting game one there. Major just complete domination.
That's really exactly what it looked like. And to be honest, Major's macro has always looked so insane. Even in his games against Alive and Hero, his macro was clearly at the Korean standards. He was even out macroing Alive. What happened in some of those games was a position error. And even in that last game, you know, he was so far ahead for so long, you could say, yes, he looked so dominant, but it would have been possible to be even more dominant given how far he was ahead in macro. Maybe, and we'll see if he can turn it up a notch and show some even more skill here, but it's really going to be on to Ian to find a way to stop Major from just cranking out units like a maniac.
Yeah, and a lot of that came down to that roach aggression there from Ian in the beginning, and the awareness of Major to you know, get that tank out on the field again. He had a 23-kill siege tank, you know, after all that happened. And you know, while that was happening, you know, you players at home can kind of relate to this as far as when you're getting attacked, making sure you're worrying about other stuff, because you know, a purpose of that from the Zerg players kind of maybe throw you off, right? Slow you down a little bit. As that attack was happening, Major identified, okay, exactly what he had to do. And then, while that was happening, 2 engineering base going down, 3rd command center on the ground. You know, making sure to have a game plan for the next step. Again, well played throughout in game 1. But this is game number 2. Anything can happen. It's on Belshir Vestige in the top left-hand location. We have the blue Zerg player who must win 2 in a row here. He's going to drop down to the group stage of the Challenger League, representing Team Yo Ironman and hailing from Taiwan. He is Ian. Went for some roach aggression in that last game. Didn't quite pan out. His opponent in the bottom right-hand location, the red Terran player who loves focusing on his macro and pushing the game as late as possible, where he truly shines. Hailing from Mexico and representing Kespa Team 8, he is Major.
Ian's a little bit afraid of proxy barracks, man. This drone has been circling around all the most likely proxy barracks spots, really wanting to make sure that doesn't happen. Of course, when you're down 0-1, the last thing you want to have happen is just go out early to some type of crazy proxy rush. So it's not a bad idea to be a little more deliberate and go ahead and use that drone to scout out, see exactly what your opponent's doing. He's going to see the command center first. How is he going to react to this?
That's a great question. I mean, you know, as a Zerg player, when you see this fast command center, you have a number of different options. Usually you're going to take one, you know, there's 2 extremes you're generally going to take. One is going to be really focused on that economy, maybe even take a 3rd hatch or something crazy like that. But the other option is immediately done on a gas or something and try to go for some sort of aggression. That's what some Zerg players used to like to do in the past, but again, as StarCraft 2 evolves, the Terran players get better, they have these builds that are designed to be safe, no matter where they go. After these command centers. So to make that decision to try to go for some sort of aggression after you see a very fast command center, that could be a very risky move here from Ian. So I would expect him to play a little bit more, you know, macro-minded.
Looks like no
Look
gas.
at the drone and the SCV in the middle of the map, by the way. They're literally on top of each other, and they were literally on top of each other for a good 20 seconds.
Was a little bit of a peace agreement.
Maybe the SCV just got tired and just like jumped on the drone so they could ferry him across the map.
And it has to be that way. The drone jumps on top of the SCV, the little burners in the back of the SCV suit.
You don't want to do that.
No,
it doesn't sound very safe.
It's definitely not. It's drones have bad memories of being burnt by fire.
Yes.
From many a hellbat drop.
They've heard the whispers from other colonies. The world of StarCraft 2. But yeah, both these players they're not going for anything crazy. No gases from the Zerg just yet, which means, you know, unless he's doing some sort of slowing all in, which doesn't make much sense. You know, focusing on those additional queens, additional drones, additional hatcheries. And of course, meanwhile, Major going to be playing how we typically would expect. Very fast command center, might try to mix in some draw play, but again, he's going to be late game focused. And honestly, when you're up 1-0, no reason not to, in my opinion.
So Ian is getting double gases before getting that 3rd hatchery. So not an insanely fast 3rd base here from Ian. He's also going up to 4 queens, so that's going to give him a super ability to spread creep. It also means he's not going to do any crazy mass roach rush like we saw last game. If he was going to do that, obviously he wouldn't be spending his money on queens, as they can't help out as much with that attack. But we could see a couple things from him. We could see a 3rd, it looks like he's going to be building that 3rd hatchery. But getting this gas going right now is going to allow him to get speed, to try to help fight for map control. or he could even throw down a Roach Warren and do a little bit of Roach Poke, try to fake the same type of aggression he did last game. But given the fact he's already got that third hatchery going up, I don't think he wants to commit as much as we saw him do on Neoplanet S.
Of course, a pretty interesting difference here from Major versus last game. Last game, he went for the starport directly after the factory and wanted to get some drop play done. Here, he's not doing that. He's getting a very fast third command center, getting stim instead, a little bit faster than last game. So again, playing with a mid to late game intention here so far. In Belcher Vestige, it's a little bit bigger than Neoplanet S, so it makes a bit of sense not going for the crazy fast drops. As on Neoplanet S, it's a little bit more guaranteed that you're going to get damage done, considering it doesn't take long at all for your medevac to get across the map.
Major using those Hellions to scout out his opponent. He spotted a third base. One Hellion is actually going to get into the main, I think. Ooh. It spots a natural, spots it. There's gas mining going there. It sees no lair tech at the main. It sees speed is being researched, and he's seen the Roach Warren. So he knows that, okay, no lair is being thrown up yet, but he has a third base. He could just commit to some really intense aggression with Roaches and Speedings, or he could just be getting a few Roaches and Speedings, take map control, and join up to third base. But for sure, there's nothing crazy like a two-base Nidus or really fast meter play going on.
Yeah, that was actually a really good scout from Major. You know, seeing the third, seeing a few Roaches out on the field, seeing the drone count as well, all going to be great for Major. You know exactly what's going on. And going forward, we're seeing Ian just made a few Roaches, just to take a little bit of control over his side of the map here, making sure he can shoo away those Hellions should they be annoying. Speaking of which, the Hellions going straight for the third. A lot of drones are vulnerable, and plenty going down. A little bit surprising to see Ian not aware of this, not having some Roaches in this location, and so many drones falling down.
Man, a couple Speedings come by, but that's not going to be enough to defend. The Roaches are out in the middle of the map. That's not going to cut it against these Hellions. These Hellions are going to escape. Not a single Hellion died, and he's must have gotten like 8
workers killed.
Yeah.
8 workers killed. Units lost is 11-1, 475 to 100 in favor of Major. So he has all the momentum in this game so far. Now, again, we're not in a situation where, okay, the game's over. Major just got all those drone kills. No, that's not how it works. He does have a bit of momentum here. He does have the bit of a lead as well, but nothing that Ian can't recover from. A little bit surprising though that he let that many drones die to this home.
It is. The Roaches then went to the third base, and now they left again. They're like, "There's no Hellions here. What are you guys talking about?" Now they're back moving out, and the third base is again vulnerable. If Major can identify this, he could run right back in and get a lot more drone kills, but right now he's searching around the corners of the map, trying to clear up, and he's scouting Speedlings to make way to take his own third base.
I feel like Ian might be a little bit more prepared now. I mean, looking at his map vision, he has that watchtower in the middle, and he has an overload in a nice spot just to the right of that watchtower vision. So he should be prepared should the Hellions decide to walk over. Widowmine is not going to die. Wow, if all those Roaches had stayed hitting the Widowmine, I think it would have died, but he was scared that it would get burrowed and he'd take a lot of splash damage, so he backed most of them away.
Roaches now trying to escape. The Hellions are trying to find a weak one. Are they going to identify it?
Oh, they know it exists.
No, Major's gonna let it go. The third base being chipped away at by Speeding, so Ian's gonna identify the fact his opponent did take that third base. Of course, I don't think that Speeding's gonna do too much damage.
No.
Horde of Marines coming down there to clear that little guy up. And going forward, both players just really focusing on macro. Ian with the 4th hatchery, progressing his upgrades, getting Baning speed. Very, very, very important upgrade if you're going to try to use the Speeding Baning Mutas combination. And Major, same thing as last game, just focusing on the upgrades and a lot of barracks units being produced, as well as reactoring out Widowmines.
Also, this time we're not seeing that delay of the melee upgrade. Remember last game we saw Ian start with the missile upgrade at first, and it didn't really help him going forward. We theorized he might have forgotten, or he might have misclicked there, but this time he's on point with those upgrades. 1-1 just about to finish. Should be starting 2-2 right away. Of course, you don't want to delay that anytime whatsoever. Also, Major's Armory did finish, so he'll be able to start 2-2 right away as well. So, again, fairly even as far as upgrades are concerned, but Major deciding he wants to do some aggression. Coming across the map here with a few Hellions, he's got some Marines there as well, a couple medevacs overhead, and this is that point where Major can do this provided he has enough room in the medevacs to pick up all of his units should he feel threatened. But this is a pretty formidable force here.
It is. There's only 2 medevacs, so not everyone can be picked up, but there's no Baning speed, so we can kite back very effectively.
Gotta split back and let your Marauders get in the front. The Widowmine's dropping down as well, trying to get that damage done. Only a few Banelings are left, trying to get a good detonation, but another Widowmine shot going down. A lot of damage done being done here by Major, able to micro properly, and he's gonna have a pretty sizable force still alive.
Ian's going to defend a 4th, but what was super important in that engagement was the fact that Major didn't lose any of his Widowmines. He had 5 Widowmines that all would have died if there was an Overseer there.
Oh no! Okay, scaring me a little bit.
Oh, getting the Queen.
Okay, very nicely handled. He's going to clean up all these Widow Mines. One more shot's going to go off. Nope, no, it's not. So, Ian able to clean that up, but Major supply is at 136 to his opponent's 116. And that's obviously that's going to be a little bit concerning, but the question is, how much damage can these mutas get done? And oh, you do not want to lose this fourth. Ian has to defend this location.
Oh, nice little micro move by Major, picking up that Widow Mine when it would have detonated on all of his Marines and resettling it. Banings are coming in now, and now they have Baning speed.
Yes, and on creep there, so Ian's going to be able to protect this location, so Major is going to back up.
I think, wait, did Major forget to start plus? He forgot to
Yes.
start +2 armor. He went with his 2-2 timing. His attack is looking good, but his armor was just started right now. He had actually forgotten it for quite some time. That's going to be very important going forward.
Of course, there's going to be a period of time where the Zerg player is going to have 2-2, but you know what I'm going to be watching out for is the Widow Mine control, because if Ian can properly handle those Lings and Banelings, oh, speaking of which, how is that Widow Mine not in range?
It's just barely on the edge of range now.
Oh gosh, so much damage done by that Widow Mine, and again, that's so important. Oh wow, great detonation on those Marines though, but Ian has to be very careful. He can't lose too many units to these Widow Mines or he will lose this game.
And there's so many Marines as well. It's very hard to send in a few units to activate the Widow Mines, as the Marines will kill them before the Widow Mines are activated. Major controlling his Marines very well.
Muta's going straight to the third base. There are no missile turrets. There is a bunker and a Marine. Meanwhile, some aggression still happening on the right-hand side of the map. The Mutas are going to back up. And I think there's also a drop in the main base. Yes, there is some Marines being dropped in that location. And also a lot of posturing being done in the middle of the map here. Mutas, Marines running around the middle of the map. But it looks like a lot of drones falling there in the main. Some Lings finally swinging back to deal with that. So he's going to clean that up. But Major doing a decent job with the drops.
Major just in full control. Oh, just as I said that, some big Baning explosions took out a huge chunk of his bio.
Muta's coming into the third, still trying to get that damage done. They don't know about that engagement, though. Again, when you're trying to attack a bunker with a turret next to it, and there's 4 Marines inside that bunker, it's not going to be fun, especially when those Marines have +2 attack, which they do. So if we're talking about that upgrade timing, now is that window where the Zerg player has 2-2 on the melee and carapace, but again, Major forgot that +2 armor, but it looks like it's not going to affect things too much in the long run. In fact, is the Hive hasn't even started yet here for Ian, so he won't be able to progress into 3-3. Okay, just now started. So he won't be able to progress into 3-3 for quite a while, so Major might be able to take that upgrade lead back.
And Major's fourth is going up totally unopposed there. Just the SCV's mine on the left side. Marine being transferred over, and now the big push on the right. Can Ian defend his fourth base? That's so important.
Oh gosh, this is so scary. It's so hard to deal with when you don't know how many Widow Mines are necessarily in the ground. Ian, sure, he has a lot of units on the high ground up there, but again, he has to be scared of these Widow Mines. Here we go, Lings and Banelings coming forward here from Ian. Doesn't really care too much about the Widow Mines. He's gonna try to get that damage done, but so many great Widow Mine shots here from Major. Another one going down, and Major, is he gonna be able to clean this up?
It looks like Ian's gonna clean it up, but there's Major's rally is so strong. In fact,
are you sure?
I lied. These are Marines.
There's also a drop in the main base here, and again, most of Ian's forces were there on the right-hand side trying to defend that fourth base, but we got a drop in the main, trying to get that damage done to Ian's economy. Once again, so far, we have 14 workers killed for Major in this game, up to 18, 19 workers killed, really being relentless on his opponent's side of the map, and still Ian have to worry about this aggression, and there's the GG. Major gonna take game number 2. What a great series there from Major. Just great Terran play throughout.
He's just so on top of his unit production, SCV production there. He's always had about a 30 supply lead on Ian at the very least. And that's a very difficult position to be in as a Zerg player. If you go into speeding baiting Muta, you need to be able to look for the opportunity where you micro well against the Widow Mines and then totally just crush the army. And the problem Ian had is that he actually did micro pretty well against the Widow Mines in several engagements. But he just didn't have enough units, so that even if the Widow Mines didn't get the insane hits off, there are just too many Marines, too many medevacs, just too many units from Major that he was just not able to follow through and really get the breathing space he needed to progress up to the Infestors and the Hive tech that he really wants to have in that late game situation against a 4-base Terran.
Yeah, Major playing that so well, a nice 2 over Ian, and again, you know, it was a series honestly characterized a lot by Widow Mine play too. I mean, in that second game, Major got so many, actually in both games really, Major got so many good Widow Mine connections, and that's just so helpful against the Ling Baneling composition where the Lings and Banelings are going to be clumped up a lot. You can get a lot of kills, you can be very cost efficient, which is exactly what happened there for Major. So Major's going to take the series 2-0 and he'll be advancing to the next round of the bracket. Of course, guys, you're watching the Challenger League. This is day 2. Of course, we're covering the bracket stage right now. Coming up next, we're going to have Neeb versus Puck, another best of 3 to see who's going to advance one step closer to a spot in the Premier League, a Season 2. Guys, stay tuned. Coming up next, Neeb Puck.